Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for our Srimad Bhagavatam reading in the morning at ISKCON Nepal. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam. Please begin with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Madeka Bandhu Matsangin Madguru Manmahadhana Mannishtharaka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, welcome again. We are continuing our Srimad Bhagavatam reading from chapter 12, canto 1. This is the description of Lord's protection of Maharaj Parikshit. This is text 15. Tam uchu brahmanastushta rajanam prashrayanvitam yesha yasmin prajatantau purunam pauravashabha. Tam unto him, uchu addressed, brahmana the learned brahmanas, tushta very much satisfied, rajanam unto the king, prashrayanvitam very much obliging, esha this, he certainly, asmin in the chain of, prajatantau descending line, Purunam of the Purus, Pauravashabha, the chief among the Purus. Translation. The learned Brahmanas, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus. Yesterday, Balaram Prasad Prabhu was describing about the importance of charity and how when we see these brahmanas, they're satisfied with the charities of the king. It's not that they need those charities and they're happy that they got something, but they're really satisfied by the kings upholding the dharma of the king or the kshatriyas or the grihasthas who are supposed to give charity to the brahmanas. So that is the aspect we have to really understand, because it's not that they are in need, so they're satisfied when they get something. These learned brahmanas, they're very highly elevated at those times, and they know the real purpose of it. They're just accepting on behalf of the Supreme Lord to benefit or purify the others in the Varnashrama system. So that is the satisfaction really is talked about here. And they're addressing Maharaja Yudhishthir as a chief amongst the Purus because of his qualities, character, and how he is actually ruling the whole world. And they would be actually glorifying Maharaj Parikshit, what kind of a character and what kind of a son or heir the a person he is to this dynasty. There is no purport. We'll continue to the next verse. This is 1:12:16. Very beautiful and very hope-giving purport. Daivena pratighatena shukle samsthamupeयुषि rato vo nugrahardhaya vishnuna prabha vishnuna. Daivena pratighatena shukle samsthamupeयुषि rato vo nugrahardhaya vishnuna prabha vishnuna. Daivena, by supernatural power. Apratighatena, by what is irresistible. Shukle, unto the pure. Samstham, destruction. Upeyushi, having been enforced. Rata, restored. Va, for you. Anugraha ardhaya, for the sake of obliging. Vishnuna, by the all-pervasive Lord. Prabha Vishnuna, by the all-powerful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmana said, this spotless son has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon. The child Parikshit was saved by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Vishnu for two reasons. The first reason is that the child in the womb of his mother was spotless due to his being a pure devotee of the Lord. The second reason is that the child was the only surviving male descendant of Kuru, the pious forefather of the virtuous king Yudhishthira. The Lord wants to continue the line of pious kings to rule over the earth as his representatives for the actual progress of the peaceful and prosperous life. After the battle of Kurukshetra, even up to the next generation of Maharaja Yudhishthira was annihilated, and there were none who could generate another son in the great royal family. Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, was the only surviving heir apparent in the family, and by the irresistible supernatural Brahmastra weapon of Ashwatthama, he was forced to be annihilated. So the description here, we already heard the description how Lord actually entered Mother Uttara's womb and protected the child. So here Prabhupada is describing what are the reasons for Lord to protect Maharaj Parikshit. And this is actually so beautiful just to hear about Lord's protection, even inside the womb. And it's not even like, Maharaj Parikshit was outside and Krishna is actually saving his body. He's not even born. He's actually within the womb. Even at that time, the Lord is there to protect him. So that is what we can understand, the Lord's protection for actually our soul. It's not so much of bodily protection. I mean, he can do that at times according to what is actually beneficial for us. So that's something I was meditating upon this verse as I was reading this purport. We may not always like the way Krishna is protecting us. Krishna is actually reciprocating with us in our life. We may want it to be look in some particular shape or color, Krishna's reciprocation to some taste. But it may be actually completely different than what we are expecting his reciprocation or his protection. But what we can understand is Krishna knows what we really need at that particular time. And he actually gives us that kind of protection. I was remembering this verse, Bhagavad Gita 9, chapter 22nd verse, Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ejana Payupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. This Yoga Kshemam, that Kshemam is actually referring to what is our ultimate benefit. So if we consider Maharaj Parikshit, at this instance, Krishna actually saved his life, but we can see from chapters 18 and 19 of first canto, when we move there, we know he has got this 7-day notice for apparently a mistake that he has done. And he has to actually leave his body in the prime of his youth and leaving his kingdom, family, everything. But Krishna is still protecting him. He actually gave the opportunity for Maharaj Parikshit to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and through that to benefit all of us for generations to come, to have this opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the protection really Lord can award us. So we are hearing Srila Prabhupada is explaining for 2 reasons why Lord protected. So first and foremost is the child in the womb of his mother was spotless due to his being a pure devotee of the Lord. So we understand even before he took birth, he's actually a pure devotee. It's not like he came out and he practiced devotional service, then he became a pure devotee, but he's actually a pure devotee of the Lord. So that is one reason for a pure devotee of the Lord. There is never a time that the Lord is not there to protect him, whatever is the circumstance. The second reason is that the child was the only surviving male descendant of Kuru, the pious forefather of the virtuous Queen Yudhishthira. So we learn that Ashwatthama used his Brahmastra to kill the 5 sons of Pandava while they were sleeping and while they were not even in the battlefield. I mean, very cruelly, like very inhuman way. And after that, Arjuna actually left him on the plea of Draupadi, and Maharaj Yudhishthira just cut his jewel off from the head of Ashwatthama and just left him. Ashwatthama, instead of being grateful that his life was spared by Pandavas, he actually carrying that grudge so much. I mean, we can understand the extent of grudge and that mood of revenge that the living entity can carry, and what would be the destination that we have to go through. Anyway, so that's the mood Ashwatthama has, and he again is using this Brahmastra the 3rd time actually, once to Arjuna, second to kill the sons of Pandavas, and the 3rd time is to kill Maharaj Parikshit, who is actually inside the womb, so that the whole dynasty, Pandavas dynasty, nobody will be there to carry on their kingdom. But Krishna is actually there this time. He actually protected. So that's the second reason why Krishna has protected. So first thing is the pure devotee. So that is actually his spiritual or swadharma. And the second aspect is his material aspect, what the duty he would be carrying out. So it's kind of saying the duties or the dharma that we have from the bodily platform as well as the soul platform. And the other aspect Prabhupada is explaining here, Lord Krishna is described herein as Vishnu, and this is also significant. Lord Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, does the work of protection and annihilation in his capacity of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. The all-pervasive activities of the Lord are executed by him in his Vishnu feature. So Krishna has different expansions to carry out different, we cannot really call that as duties, but to carry out the various activities for the protection, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. I mean, in one sense, he doesn't have to really go through all this. He can just say, hey, living entities, what's your problem? You can just, stay here and don't go anywhere. But out of his causeless love, it's so much. Sometimes, I just get like, what is the extent of Krishna's love that he is even allowing knowingly that the living entity is going away? As a mother, sometimes, just seeing my children like doing stuff, I just cannot hold myself. I'm like, don't do that. It's going to, cause you harm or something. But we can understand the extent of love that the Lord has for us, that in spite of he being in that pain of seeing the suffering of the living entities, He is still giving us the opportunity. He is never taking away the free will choice from the living entities. This is something we can actually, remember and understand at any given point of time. We have that free will choice. Krishna is allowing us to choose. So if we can use that choice wisely and choose what is actually good for us, what is ultimately good for us, instead of getting caught up in the temporary material illusions, we can actually get freed from this suffering, because it's not by our own endeavor. Krishna is always looking to protect us, as we can see from this purport, how even inside the womb, of course, he is actually inside the womb. It's not that he has to enter there, but even then he was actually ready to protect. So we can understand what is in store for us just by practicing Krishna consciousness. It's not even that, we have to become a pure devotee, otherwise Lord doesn't care for us. From this Bhagavad Gita 240, even a little effort, even a very tiny service that we do in Krishna consciousness, Krishna is actually remembering that. He's so grateful. He's remembering that, and he is ever ready to protect us, to give us the benefit and to help us to go back to our eternal blissful position. And this other thing is again talking about that pure devotees. Child Parikshit is described here as spotlessly white because he is an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Such unalloyed devotees of the Lord appear on the earth just to execute the mission of the Lord. The Lord desires the conditioned souls hovering in the material creation to be reclaimed, to go back home, back to Godhead. And thus, he helps them by preparing the transcendental literatures like the Vedas, by sending missionaries of saints and sages, and by deputing his representative, the spiritual master. Such transcendental literatures, missionaries, and representatives of the Lord are spotlessly white because the contamination of the material qualities cannot even touch them. They are always protected by the Lord when they are threatened with annihilation. Such foolish threats are made by the gross materialists. The Brahmastra, which was thrown by Ashwatthama at the child Parikshit, was certainly supernaturally powerful, and nothing of the material world could resist its force of penetration. But the all-powerful Lord, who is present everywhere, within and without, could counteract it by his all-powerful potency, just to save bona fide servant of the Lord and descendant of another devotee, Maharaja Yudhishthira, who was always obliged by the Lord by his causeless mercy. So this is the another thing that we can actually understand from these lines in the purport. It's really very inspiring and hope-giving how just by trying to be in that mission, what is that we are actually gaining? The Lord is extending such a protection, and how he is actually sending us the spiritual master and the devotees and the Shastra. It's like, we cannot be having any kind of complaints. So if we just meditate on what are the facilities that Krishna is giving me in my life, what are the kind of association, we just go out and see people suffering like anything. They are sincere. They really want to do something for their, not really in terms of body. They understand the importance of self-realization per se, and they really want to go in that path. But there's so many things out there to distract one, and people get cheated and they lose faith, and so much is happening. But see our fortune here, how wonderful it is that we have access to Srimad Bhagavatam. We have access to understand the teachings of it by person Bhagavatas, by the persons who are actually living by those teachings. Otherwise, what do we understand? Even if we have Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, with our mindset, if we have to understand, at least for me, I don't think I'll be able to understand without the explanation and seeing the examples, how devotees are actually living by those values. So that is really the purpose these devotees are coming to execute the mission of the Lord. It's not that, they have something to gain in this mission or something. We can see Prabhupada, how selfless he is. Totally, totally. I mean, his whole life, right from where he came here, in spite of his old age, it's just moves our heart sometimes if you see what is the reason. I mean, he could just stay there in Vrindavan and just do his chanting and whatever. Even he could do his translations. He doesn't have to take the pain of coming here and do whatever he has done for like 20 hours a day. And you know it's just so heart melting if we see the activities of Prabhupada and of course all Prabhupada disciples. We are seeing right in front of our eyes. So we can actually take the inspiration from them, and at least a tiny drop of it if we can cultivate. I'm just meditating and trying to say this for myself, because I keep coming up with so many excuses on and off, saying, oh, because of this I can't do this, because of that, because of this. It's like a number of excuses. But if we understand what Krishna is actually giving us in my life, and just show that gratitude by at least trying to cultivate a tiny drop of that sincere aspect, to really go deeper into this and share this, what the mercy we are receiving. And the last point, Prabhupada is bringing this very powerful aspect. We go through this countless miseries in this material world. We try to take shelter of so many things in the material world, like maybe this can save me, maybe that can save me, an insurance policy, or so many things. We try to take shelter. Of course, it's not that we shouldn't have all those. We need to take care of that, but not really placing our shelter in those aspects. We are doing it so we can so we can feel the shelter of the Lord. We are actually doing that as a duty bound. We have to do that to take care of our body, take care of the needs. But really, from our consciousness level, we have to place our shelter in Krishna, that He is really protecting us. This Ramastra, it's actually supernatural, and nothing of this material world can actually save us. And in a sense, I mean, even death is like that for us. Nothing of this material world can actually save us from death. But Krishna consciousness, Krishna's protection, He is actually ready to save us, just free us from this forever. So that is really the God's protection that we can meditate upon, and just take hope and inspiration to continue on in whatever comes on our way. So in summary, we are discussing this Maharaj Parikshit being saved by the Lord, and how and why Krishna saved, the two reasons Prabhupada is explaining here. One is his being a pure devotee. The second is being the only male descendant to continue the kingdom and to execute the mission of Lord Krishna. We need these kind of things, these kind of leaders to actually execute the mission of God consciousness, to propagate Krishna consciousness, and how Krishna's protection, and how he actually arranges and sends different literatures and pure devotees and so many facilities for the conditioned souls to go back. I will stop here. Kindly share any reflections, corrections, anything from this discussion. Everyone is silent. Okay, if we don't have anything, we can stop here. All of you have a very wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Haribol Mataji, Pranam Pandrangapalas, quick thought and question. When we read, like, this is the only hair left. I was wondering, because they are kings, why did they not even think of getting more? Like, in case of Chitraketu Maharaj, he was keep trying thousands and thousands of wives. So why they have to just say, okay, this is the only hair left? Is there any specific reason for that? Mathaji, any ideas, thoughts?
I haven't come across, Prabhu. I was actually thinking about that too myself, because I don't know if it's exactly, I don't think it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam purport, but I don't know if it's in some explanations or something. In the discussion of the sons of Pandu being died, Draupadi actually mentions, I at least have husbands to take care of me, but Kripi doesn't even have husband to, so please spare Ashwatthama. So in that connection, I mean, not necessarily the hair per se, but the women needs protection in that sense. I just remember that, Prabhu, but I don't necessarily know if they could have tried. I mean, definitely for that reason, Pandavas are there and Draupadi is there.
Yeah, I was also thinking that, how this Yudhishthir, not Yudhishthir, Dhritarashtra and Pandu Maharaj, how they were born. They could have done that. They could have called again Vyasdev and must have done something else. I was stuck with that. This is the only thing left. What was that situation made them think this is the only thing left? That's what I was stuck there. So that's okay, Mataji. I don't think we will get.
Yeah. Except that might be Lord's arrangement.
Could be. Yeah, you never know. Maybe Krishna this is it. Figure it out.
And also, the whole orchestration of saving Maharaj Parikshit, and, he wanted to create that. It's not like, okay, Maharaj Parikshit is being born and he's just taking care of it.
Yeah, I mean, he was saved because there was a prayer. Otherwise, Krishna would not, maybe, I don't know, we read in Bhagavatam, right? Tara comes and says, please, Mahabaho, help.
Pahi Mahayogi.
Yeah. So what if she would have not done that? Maybe Krishna says, what, you did not call me. Sorry, like Draupadi, hey, you did not call me. When you call me with devotion, then I come. So we don't know.
But I think this purport addresses that, right, Prabhu? Maharaj Parikshit, his spotless and pure devotee. So I think Krishna's protection would be there.
Yeah, that was predicted by.
That's actually a wonderful point, because, Ishopanishad verse, last few verses brings, I don't know if I can remember at that time of death or not. So please, you remember me and you protect me. So we hear this even when we don't remember, even when we don't pray. Krishna actually remembers, and then thank you for bringing that point. I'm sure Maharaj Parikshit would have been saved. Anyway, Mother Uttara remembered and prayed. This is our speculation.
See, this is what material mind thinks, right? Question. Yeah. No, thank you. That's good.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Any other last thoughts or sharings? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grandraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vancha kalpataribhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha. Patitanam pavane